Don't blink, you should blink. Commercial. Because doing well, having a wonderful day on this glorious, and I do mean glorious, 6th of September 2095. I have time for a last video tonight. I have time for another episode of this delightful show called Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It is 7:32. I have to be done by 7:35. 55. So we're gonna go in with the old guard, which is easily one of my favorite episodes. I'm sorry, I'm playing on this side, which means I should possibly change side, but too late. It's my favorite episode because it does show very close knitted bonds. The opening scene is taking out taking out. This is super cool. This is super cool. Taking out Sully sucks, which is in itself. It's not Sully. It's Hitchcock. Sucks for some reason. Later in the later season, this is gonna be super funny. In the later season, it's more so the two of them together. But in the first season, Hitchcock is the clear like mess. So go in. This is my favorite scene. They try to do it, but the machine is closed. They do bomb equipment. Look at Charles. Look at Charles. Look at Charles. This is a badass. Charles is my favorite character. There's a clear reason as to why. They make the brutes explode, but it tastes even worse. Jake is early, which makes the whole squad go like, what the heck, Jake? You're never early. What is going on? So Jake says, hey, today we're receiving one of my childhood hero. So he showed that he had the book. He was writing the book, which is about the old guard, about a ex-era of cops, and how much it means to him, how much is his favorite book. We meet him, which is Pope from Prison Break, right? And he talked about how he kind of worshipped the guy. The guy is everything that he wants, is what makes him want to become a cops, which is cool, which is really, really cool. Pum pum. Hi, bro. Imagine one day if I'm famous enough or popular enough, if people kind of know where I live and they go to the streets and honk at me, just to say, yo, this is Ink. It'd be kind of cool, huh? Well, pretend like this was the case. Thank you for helping me in my denial. Oh, I almost dropped the computer. So Alt is afraid of this clear fandom of Jake to the old cops. Now, this is kind of cool. This is really, really cool because Olds know what type of cop. I don't remember his name, but the old guard is, and he know that it's not positive. So I think he's trying to shield Jake from the negative experiences that he can have. Which, if it is the case, amazing. If it's not the case, it's a pretty good idea. So we have Rosa, who is in a meeting, and this is also funny. This is also really funny. I died a horrible death. But it's okay. I got 20 minutes. It'll be tough. It'll be tough doing things, but still. Rosa is having a court schedule with a lawyer that she doesn't like. Rosa is being told that she is too strict or too severe or looks scary in a court case. So Boyles and Terry are on the case of making her seem nicer. Which I gotta say is kind of cool because we're seeing Terry much more involved. And even though it's kind of a case of, see, Charlie is there because he cares about Rosa, but Terry is there because he's a leader, right? Possibly still also care about Rosa, obviously, but you know what I mean, right? So the guy falls asleep, the old guard falls asleep, which is kind of cool because Jake wishes that he could fall asleep like that. He calls Jake and Amy pencil pusher. So the guy used to write police book. Then he wants to see the squad to be the modern cops, how they are embodied and things like that. Jake wants to go on a high-speed chase. There's none in his precinct, so he goes to another precinct, which again, he wants to impress the old cop, which, does it work? This is super funny. So Old comes in, and this is the old precinct, right? And Old tells him about the old guard and how it wasn't great and how they were racism, they were homophobic, right? Which is going to be the end of the episode, and the ending is the best. Honestly, there's been a couple of cold intro that I really like. I really like this cold intro, by the way. But as an ending, this is clearly my favorite. So they go to the bar and drink. Jake isn't able to drink, so he comes back the next day super hungover, which is kind of funny because he's supposed to be like this old cop, but it's super nice. Super nice. He's trying to impress a guy, right? Which is kind of what Amy does with Captain Alt, and Jake kind of make fun of her for that. The fact that he does this here, is also quite endearing because you make fun of her for that, but you do the same thing. So I thought it was sweet. I thought it was sweet. The guy comes in and says, "Hey, I'm in tough shape. Why are you so hungover?" Which the guy is like 80 years old, so it's kind of cool. There is a fashion show with Rosa, and it's cool because Rosa, during the show, will learn to embrace her femininity, right? Police car, we're doing Brooklyn Nine-Nine, hell yeah. Rosa, near the end of the series, will discover herself a lot more. She's bisexual, she's under femininity. And it's cool because Rosa is pretty closed off. And she has the best romance in the show. So I feel that she's B, so you think that the romance is with another girl? No. It's with Pimento, because they're both crazy. They're both insane. You got Jake, who's asking Hitchcock for advice on how not to drink. And this is possibly the funniest scene of the episode. Well, the funniest thing, but not the most sentimental. Hitchcock's like, oh, well, I didn't drink, but I had a pretty big addiction to cocaine. So he says he tells to Sully, hey, I'm going to Japan. And Sully, who's naked, it's like, I'm already all packed. Which made me laugh a lot. We got Amy, whose father was a cop, and he said egg yolk, raw egg is the best way to do it. They chase a perk, right? Because this is a guy and Jake is chasing her. And the coolest thing is he's too drunk to chase. And then the old guard is like, yeah, being hungover is classic old cop style. You see a lot of potential in Jake, right? And it's cool because you see himself in Jake. However, Jake doesn't want to be like him because you learn later on that Jake prefer his current squad to the old squad because of an incident that happened that is actually pretty cool. I'm not gonna say what it is, but hey guys, you have to wait another couple minutes, okay? Chill. You got Jake that messed up. You got drunk. Told a bunch of stuff behind the scene, which is bad because he kind of put down the whole squad. But he was drunk. So he feel bad about it, but he was drunk. Cool thing also is that he asked Pope to take it out. Pope is not gonna do it. So now you see a cut scene, and you see the cut in the scene, and you see Jake punching the Pope. So like, okay, well, because he didn't want to take out the coat from this, he punched him. So Oates gives shit to Jake. It's like, I can't believe you punched him, right? But then Amy comes in and tells him what really happened. Pope said, I'm not going to say what I said in my article. Don't worry. I know it was off record, but you made a mistake, and it's your fault. It's okay. You learn from it. It's not your fault. You're young, you know? But then he said, you don't have to protect that. And Jake said, what did you say? And then he punched because he called him a homo, which is a negative term. Apparently, I didn't know that. Now, the F there was very negative, but homo. The more you learn, I guess. So yeah, so you punch Pope, and then there's an article. There's an article that says that Jake is a piece of kind of a piece of shit. He's a softie. He is a disgrace to the uniform. And Olt, you know what he says? Olt, that's kind of badass. Olt comes in and says to Jake, don't worry about it. He wouldn't recognize a good cop if he hit him in the face, which Jake did. So yeah, super cool moment. And ladies and gentlemen, that's our episode. I'm seeing the time. I have time for one more. I'm addicted to Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Such a good show. So let's freaking go. I'm going to try to do quick. It's Sal's Pizza, episode number 9. So the cold intro is how they got an email saying that's what everybody is looking on their computer. So kind of a breach of personality, kind of a breach of privacy, which is also something we saw in The Office. So I'm like, what came first, The Office or Brooklyn Nine-Nine? And the answer is, drumroll please, The Office. The proof is in the pudding, in a cop show. So some of them are kind of funny. Most of them are funny. I would really say to watch the cold opening because it's one of the good one. And I could tell you the joke, but it wouldn't fall. It's more so visual as a joke. We have the firefighter, and this is really cool because everybody says there's a rivalry between the cops and the firefighter, right? So in this one, there's also here kind of funny because Jake has a problem with the leader of the firefighter, which is Boone. So this kind of made me chuckle. So there you go. Rosa and Amy had a storyline where Rosa was offered a post of captain of a precinct, which sadly gets Amy jealous, right? Kind of sucks because she shouldn't be. In my opinion, Amy is who's better cops? That's weird. That's a hard question. Amy or Rosa or Jake and Amy. If Jake's a better cop than Amy, then he's a better cop than Rosa. I don't know. It's so complex. It's so different. It's so different. Why am I saying that Jake's a better cop than than Amy? Well, just because there's a bunch of scene where they do a investigation together, and Jake is the one that comes on top, right? Amy is possibly better than a bunch of people, but when she's against Jake, she loses. Um. So here's the problem, right? The place that burned down is Saul. Saul is a institution in Brooklyn, so they want to know the culprit because it's important. However, we learned that Boyd's like, bro, this is not even the best pizza. So why are you so worried? Why are you so worried about it? But then you learn there's a pretty emotional thing with it. You got this guy, which is called Savant. Savant gets in, and this is possibly one of my favorite thing. It's just so cool. So he breaks into the firewalls of the police, which means that he acts the police station. So he gets arrested, right? But he was able to. So then the old is like, yo, we have to find somebody new because if somebody like him can get into the information, then who else can, right? So it's kind of problematic. So so he asked Gina to help because Gina's a good judge of character. So this is why she asked him. She doesn't ask Gina to help because he's better, but just because she's a good judge of character. Like the firefighter coming in, making fun of Jake, they offer him drumroll please, a donut, which is kind of funny. Here we have, what's his name? Joey Diaz, I think. I don't know. He's a good friend of what's his name? Fuck. What's his name? Joe Rogan. Joey Diaz. I'm 100% sure this is him. Joey Diaz, pretty famous comedian too. He makes me laugh a lot. But I listen to his podcast and I'm like, bro, it's a bit too into weed, you know. Joey Diaz. Yeah, you see, your boy knows shit. Which is kind of cool because it's nice to see him here. And this is Saul himself, you know. So he asked Jake because you see Jake a lot, and this is really cool. This is a really good ID, narratively speaking. So he talks to Jake, and he recognizes Jake as a customer. Means that they're close. Means that Saul does care about his customer, which is an endearing trait for Saul, which also makes us want to say Saul. Why is it weird? Well, because I don't live in Brooklyn, so I don't give a shit about Saul Pizza. Sorry, Saul. But the fact that we care about it because our character cares about it means that the show is doing something good, right? One of the most emotional moments of anime itself is the death of Going Merry, which is a boat who's burning because the boat is too broken. Because the boat, the crew that we love, which is the Straw Hats, care so much about the boat, we do care about the boat. And because we do care about the boat, when they burn it down, we're sad. Make sense? Hopefully. Saul is like, yo, I didn't do it, I swear. Because everybody thinks that Saul did it, right? So Amy is kind of judging Rosa because she makes a lot of mistakes. She's not the best cop, so I should have gotten it. So clearly jealousy. And then Rosa takes it like a champ until it's too much, which is kind of nice because Amy pushed the button and Rosa takes it like a champ. But at the same time, like, bro, get over it, you know? So Jake goes in and asks everybody for who did it. Because they think that it's a fellow pizza store owner that just was jealous, right? So this is kind of cool. Charles is doing a taste test for the pizza, and he does it like a wine, right? So he has a spit bucket, which is super funny. He's interviewing other pizza. I gotta say, I'm impressed by the amount of pizza owner that they interview, which is really cool because I'm impressed with the fact that they did a pizza related episode, because who would do that? But hey, It's work. So Gina interviews everybody, and she's always finding something. She's kicking out people. She doesn't give them a chance to talk, right? And she's putting them in weird situations. But then you realize that what she does is actually really cool. For example, there's a scene where she talks about a dirty space, and you see that the IT person isn't comfortable with that. And at the end, she's like, if you're gonna see Hitchcock, you're gonna want to leave, you know. So Gina takes. It's not about the how good the IT guy is. It's how easily or how much of a part of the team they are, you know? And in that case, that's important. So I did like that. Sal is super protective over it. He is seeing, he wants to go and see the crime scene, but poof, battle between the firefighter and Jake. There's a really cool scene here where there's literally two cops, two firefighter, and Charles trying to beat them both, but Charles is the weakest. It doesn't work at all. It doesn't work at all, which is kind of funny, right? Battle between the police and the firefighter. I do like that they added that, right? Boone complains to Old, said, "Hey, Jake is upset about this. Like, do something, control your team. Something is wrong with that guy." And he talks about how it's important, right? How his father was a coach of a sports team that Jake was part of, and after every single game they would go to Sal, and when he left his mom, he didn't go to Sal. So this is kind of important of that. But Boone sees this, and Boone is like, "Yo, my father was a piece of shit too," so can relate on that. So then they can become friends and they start to work together, which is kind of nice. Rosa is sick, and she takes Amy to the police district in question, and then Amy realized that the prison is not that good. Like, even though she wasn't offered a position, if she was offered a position, she wouldn't take it. So this is the important part. There you go. Gina makes an explanation of how everybody acts, how people are in the precincts, and how it takes a special kind of IT guys. And then they end up choosing Savant. And this is the coolest thing. Oath is like, "How do you know he's gonna be working for us?" And Gina's like, "Yeah, his mom snitched. First of all, he possibly cannot wait to get some money and leave this place." I thought it was really cool. I thought that was really, really cool. We have the proof that he did. He saw some pictures, and the famous drawer or armory where the recipe was kept was open. And then Charles was a tasting, and this is really cool because Charles tasting the pizza, kind of funny. It's kind of stupid. It's a stupid plot. But then when he tastes it, the sauce tastes way better. Like something changed, and the sauce is Sal recipe. Yeah. So we know who did it, and that's it. Amy apologizes to Rosa and says, "Hey, it's cool. It's really cool because you don't have this moment like that." And sadly, the two only female cops, they want them to be close. Terry says, "This is kind of cool." Terry goes in. Oh, this is really cool. This is really, really cool. A little bit of a situation. Police cops. Police cars. Police cops. Wow. This is really cool. Boone comes over. Samantha is making fun of the team because he kind of tricks, and Terry says, "If you do something that I don't like, I'll fuck you up." And Samantha's like, "Oh my god, okay, I'm sorry." Which is kind of funny because you want that. You want Savant not to be a little prick, which is what got him into the precincts in the first place. Second of all, cool scene is Boone tricks Jake, and Jake tricks Boone. Boone, what he does is he puts some shaving cream in this and said, "Okay, well, what a good joke." And Jake, what he does is there's a pull down, and he puts some pizza sauce. That's pretty much it. There's also a cool scene with Jake going down the fireman pole, which was his dream. Yeah, it's a very good episode. So there you go, 8 and 9. I was supposed to do only one, we did 2. But I have to go. Love you guys. Mwah. Smooches. And I'll see you guys pretty soon. Peace.